Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build model kits and hang out with y'all. Shout outs to Harold for hosting the stream. Thank you, Harold. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the moat in the chat. Let the people know. Durman says good timing. I was just trying to figure out what to watch. Well, hey, it's Thursday. It's 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to build model kits. Uh, I say that having not done a stream yesterday that I said I was going to do. I was going to do a bonus game stream yesterday, and then last minute someone was like, "Hey, will you do lights for this thing? It pays." And I was like, "Yes, I will." And it was short, and it was easy, and it did pay. So that was nice. But yeah, we're going to wait for a few more folks to join us because there's not many y'all tonight, so hopefully more people will come in. Um, I am counting today and also Saturday's stream as my 2 year anniversary because technically my 2 year anniversary of streaming is tomorrow, but I'm not streaming on Friday. Uh, I'm going to go see Mike Drucker do a comedy show, but I'm not going to stream. So that's what I'm doing on my Friday night. Um, so I figured, well, hey, I'll have today and Saturday count as my anniversary, and that's fun. Um, we're working on the Fenice Rinascita, which is right here. It's got green. You can't see it. You can't see it. It doesn't exist. It's so much green that you're like, Pat, you're not holding up anything. Harold says, today is my 2 year anniversary of being an affiliate. So congratulations both. Congratulations, Harold. My 2 year must be coming up in October, I want to say. Because I believe that I didn't stream for that many weeks before I got affiliate. Because I started with a good amount of folks watching, which was very nice. But yeah, we'll hopefully get a few more people. A reminder, if you use your Twitch coin through Amazon to subscribe, you have to manually renew that. This is the part of the month where renewals have to happen, and hopefully people will, because the numbers go down. Oh, the numbers go down. There's like a gradual change throughout the month, but around this time is when a lot of people need to renew. Otherwise, it's just bad, y'all. And make sure that if you do renew, you hit that button so that we know, and we can all say thanks. Throw the Bear Cave emote in there and all that fun stuff. I put a poll up for my $10 Patreon supporters because they get to vote on stuff I work on. Hello, Ultron. Welcome, welcome. And it looks like the thing that I'm going to be building next is the last Gundam model kit from Gundam Wing that I need to build. Not the last Gundam, obviously. It's not even a Gundam. It's a mobile suit, but it's from Gundam Wing. And I'm going to build it next, it looks like. It's waiting the poll. That could change. Poll's open for a while, so. But yeah, we'll hopefully get a few more folks joining us, and then we'll get to do some building. I did not see the Top Gun trailer that people are apparently excited about. I didn't see the Jay and Silent Bob trailer that people are mixed feelings about. I did see the Cats trailer, and that's not great. Look. Thank you, Asmo, and hello, Asmo. Thank you for the well wishes. Talk about Cats. Look, I've seen Cats live. I saw it. I never saw it on Broadway. I saw it in a touring version. That show had a touring company, but it also had a lot of appearances in cities, like runs. So it had a long run in Connecticut, and I went and saw it. And Lashbrook is here. Hi, Lashbrook. Happy to have you here. The thing with Cats is that it's a great play visually. It's a great experience play. It was enjoyable to go and see. I had a good time when I saw Cats the 2 times I've seen it. I've never been on the floor or near the stage, so I've never had a cat come and sit in my lap or anything like that. Where they do that at one point. The songs are fine, but the thing about Cats is that it's you. I'm trying to say this. Cats is aware that you, as an audience member, cannot suspend your disbelief enough to believe that these are cats on stage. You watch Cats. This is my opinion. My opinion. When I watch Cats, I'll use I statements. When I watch Cats, I watch it knowing that's somebody wearing a costume, pretending to be a cat, and doing their thing, and it's fun. This movie presupposes that I'm going to watch this, that I'm going to look at this movie and go, oh, look at those cats dance and sing. Because the CG effects that they're using, the costume plus stuff they're doing to like make the faces look like they're part of the costume and make the bodies look like they're fur, that ain't it. That's not, like, no, you can't make me think that that's like a cat person. I know that's Dame Judi Dench. And it's fine that that's Dame Judi Dench. It's fine. That's Taylor Swift. Sure. That's Jason Derulo. Okay. I am totally fine with believing that that's Jason Derulo dressed like a cat, doing his damnedest, having a great time. I don't need to go, you know that cat? Turns out that cat was Jason Derulo. I didn't even notice. I was too busy being enraptured by that cat. No, I don't need that. Don't try to do that. Like, if you're like, oh, the CG budget on this movie, I just want to go, why? Anyway, Ultron says it's close to the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat movie. Yeah. In that movie, I'm supposed to believe that Mike Myers is a cat. I don't need that in Cats. Oh, wait. I don't need that one. There we go. Great. Overhead. That's my cat rant. People were like, when they put out that trailer, because there's, usually at movie theaters, you go to the movies, you see a trailer. Sometimes you also see those, like, behind-the-scenes, like, videos that, like, you only see on TV Guide Network and the movie theater. Like, if you get to a movie too early, you're like, okay, so now we can actually see the Fenice, the body we've done here, which has this thing pops up, this thing pops out, and then you can climb in and out. It's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. Lots of green in this one. But they released, like, they put out this thing where it's like Taylor Swift being like, I've always loved performing, and like, I think this is great, and people being like, I forget who it was. It might have been Helen Mirren. Someone said, like, I tripped and hurt myself during my audition, and I was like, well, that's it. I'll never do Cats. And like, there are a few people that are like psyched about this thing, and they're like, we made the sets huge, and we're so excited about the sets, and it's going to look so cool, and people are like jazzed about it. And some folks are like, oh, that's fun. And other people were like, uh-oh, they put out that as a trailer and didn't show footage. What is this going to be? And the answer is, it's going to be Cats. I mean, it should be Zoobly Zoo. Hello, Mr. Bob, and welcome. Happy to have you here. Happy to have everybody here. We're building. We started the Fenice on Monday, and built most of the body and started the head, and now we're continuing on the head here. For those that don't know, this is Gundam Build Fighters. The idea is that it's like taking classic Gundams and then modifying them for battle. And so this model kit has a lot of the Wing Gundam in its DNA, which rules. And then we'll be, supplementing that and building that. And I like kits that start as other kits. That's fun. Does the kit have different colored eyes? Mr. Bob, no, this has a green eyes. You can see there. It's got the sticker is green eyes. This is a great looking kit. It does transform into a flight mode, which is cool. It is a Wing Gundam representative, as obviously. It's part Gundam Wing, part Italy. Yeah. Yes, it also has the colors of Italia, which is, I think, pretty great. I'm pretty happy with that. Um, I like that it has like a lot of just like I don't know, cool looking. It's a cool looking kit. I also enjoy that it doesn't have a gold. That its crown is not gold. That it chooses to just be like, nah, it's the same color as the rest of the head, except for the wings, which have to be green. And that's the head. Head. We started it. We did the hard part with all the stickers because this had a lot of stickers. There's only a few stickers left here. Most of them were around the head, and then there's just like two more. It's probably part of the cockpit, which is for flight mode, which is also the shield. Probably has the other two stickers. We can do the arm units, which now are identical. This is a big master grade kit. I want to say, somebody asked me on Twitter, like, what kits do you have coming up? So I have two that I purchased off my own wish list, and I'm excited about both of them. One is from Gundam Wing. It's a high grade, which we generally here don't love, but it's 1/4 high grade, but I needed it. It is the Magnac, the 1/440 scale, and it's the only thing that I haven't built from Gundam Wing, so we got it. The other thing I bought was a show. I don't know if I've built anything from this before. Maybe I built one kit from it before, I think. Yes, I think I built one. So this will be the second. It's the Blitz Gundam. It's the master grade of the Blitz Gundam from Gundam Seed. This kit came out in 2012, I believe, maybe 2011. But I've built the Buster. I built the Buster from Gundam Seed, and I really like that kit. But I'd never built I've never built the Assault Shroud either. That'll someday I'll do that. But yeah, the Blitz Gundam. If you haven't seen the Blitz, I mean, it's a stealth Gundam. It feels like a Death Scythe. Obviously, it doesn't have the scythe element of it, but it's like a stealth Gundam and looks just awesome. And I was like, why haven't I built this yet? So that's on the agenda. That'll be in the future. Looks like the Magnac is winning the poll right now, so I'll be building that after this. But we also have plenty of build time left on this kit. As you can see, we've got arms, legs, waist, weapons, backpack, wings. Blitz has a cool grappling hook. It does. It's got a grappling hook because it's meant for stealth. I don't know why even a stealthy Gundam needs a grappling hook, but it's got one, and I like that. That's fun. All right, so we need both our C's here, and our H is which is these. All right, so we can do all these steps twice. So we'll do everything, and then we'll do it again. Because we're building the arms, and parts of the arms are symmetrical, so we can do that. But yeah, I'm excited to work on that Blitz. But I think I said everything I wanted to say about cats. But yeah, it's just like one of those things where I just think that they missed the mark on what it should be. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I'm getting a notification that a friend of mine, his stream just went live. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to watch that. So I hope it's good. Hope you have fun, Mark. But can't watch it. How's everybody doing out there in the internet? Let me know how's it going with y'all. I got a lot done today. I had to go out to the world and try to do stuff in the heat, and that wasn't fun. I don't recommend going outside when it's hot out. It's not as bad as it was yesterday, but it was still not fun to be outside. Oof. I made pizza from scratch, says Durman. Hell yeah, Durman. That sounds awesome. That also sounds hot. Like in a sweltering oven style thing, but that's good. Ultron says I'm good. I had the ghost pepper Taco Bell burrito and cheese fries. They were a-okay. All right. And Mr. Bob has finished his steak. That's great too. You guys are killing it out there. Look, I realize we've moved on, but Idris Alba, Catman is a thing one can Google now and get legit results. That's cool. Yeah, no, Asmo. There are actors in this thing that I'm like, cool for them. This is cool. This is fun. I'm happy they're in this movie. My problem with this movie is not the actors. It's not the non-actors. It's not the like, we got these hip-hop dancers and we got these tap dancers and we got these like celebrity people and everyone's trying their hardest and it's all going to be cool. Like, I don't have a problem with any of that. It's the part where they're like, we built these costumes and then we also put a layers of CG on them because we don't trust the costumes or we don't realize that the costumes being kind of janky is part of the appeal to cats. That's the part where I'm like, no, it's gotta feel like, okay. There's gotta be a little bit of like, okay. Anyway, what did I do today? Well, I went and I did laundry. Now, my local laundromat, so I don't have laundry in the building. I'm not blessed with that. When I need to do laundry, I go to a laundromat. It needs to be weird. Yes, Mr. Bob. That's the thing. People are like, oh, you don't like it because it's weird. I'm like, no, it's not the right weird. It's still weird. That trailer is weird. It's just not what I want my cats to be. It's not the right kind. I'm not like trying to fuck these cats. That's not why I come to this. There are folks out there that's their thing, and hell yeah, I hope that this movie is what you want it to be. But I'm like, nah, I don't need to. I can see the zipper line. Show me the zippers on these costumes. I got no problem with showing the zippers. The thing I want is like it to be like, why does this exist weird? It needs more camp. Yeah, I think camp is definitely an element to it. It's like if you threw a bunch of money at Starlight Express and you made it so they're not on roller skates, but the way that people move through CG motion makes it seem like they're actually on wheels and it's not on rollerblades, then you have missed the point. If you're like, well, they've got to feel like cats, you do not understand what you are making. That's my opinion. Anyway, the laundromat is near me is closed. And that sucks. Because the laundromat that's near me is so close that I can just leave my laundry there and go back to my apartment and do things. So I'm going to a laundromat that is not close. Now, I could pay more, drop off service, or have them come and pick it up and pay even more. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I loaded up some videos on my iPad and sent some emails and got lunch and ate lunch in the laundromat and the hot, not comfortable laundromat, and that wasn't great. A lot of it was not great, I'll admit. But I did what I had to do today. Yes, you had the same exact situation and it sucks. Yeah, it's just like the place I had to go to is just far enough away that it's not, that it's like an event. And then also I'm like traveling and it's very warm in New York. So I'm dealing with that, like dealing with the heat of that, and that's not fun. And just in general, it was not pleasant. So I look forward to not having to do laundry for a bit, since that sucked. I just want my place that's near me to like fix their gas leak. I mean, obviously, fix their gas leak. Fucking get that done, but then also like be open so I can go there. Are you in the part of New York City where the architecture made it hotter than it should be? So, Mr. Bob, not as much. There's a lot of New York where the buildings and then also the subway. The subway always makes it hotter than uh, because there's a lot of underground and gas is rising and just a lot of heat coming from underground due to that. There's parts of New York that are always going to be hotter than they should be. Um, where I'm at, that's not really a concern. It's still humid and not great, but it is there are places in New York that are hotter than what I'm dealing with. Um, HI is this I? Yes. So that's that's a thing. I'm dealing with that. It's just like it wasn't the best day to travel and get stuff done. Uh, so I had to go do that, and then I got back to my apartment. I like got my laundry, sat there, did my emails, watched some videos on my phone or on my iPad that I downloaded, had lunch, got a bunch of stuff done, got all my laundry back, and then was like, oh, you know what I do? What I used to do when I could just go to the place that's right by me, I would get grocery shopping done. Ah, shit, I need to go grocery shopping. So then I had to go back out in the heat and then get a bunch of groceries, and that's fine. Uh, but it was like, just, I didn't want to be outside. And I'm glad that I don't have to go outside till tomorrow. I'm very happy about that. That's very good. I'm very glad that I could just chill out and I don't have to go outside again until tomorrow. That's my story. That's my errand story. It's not super exciting, but it is what I did today. And then I sent emails. I confirmed guests for improvised postmortem. Um, uh, I had already knew that some people were going to be able to do it. Now I can add Tom Dyke and Trin Garitano are joining, and Dave Lang is returning. The return of Dave Lang, the guy who now will have done every improvised postmortem at PAX. He has done every single one, and the only person that had done every one besides him is not going to PAX West this year. So Lang will now have a record. He'll have appearance at every improvised postmortem, which is very fun. And also, like, for me, really nice because I like working with Dave, but I also like having game developers do the show because I feel like I get a lot of, like, comedy people and a lot of, like someone like Drucker who has worked in writing for games and localization, but it's nice to have, like, someone that works at a game company do the panel, and hopefully cathartic for him. That's the hope, anyway. When the one time Trites did it, I know it was very cathartic for him to do it. Everywhere on the planet is hotter than it should be. Yes, Asmo, in general, everywhere is hotter than it should be, certainly. But there are decisions that were made in New York that made it just like a different kind of heat exists. It's like a weird thing with the way that the buildings were designed, and also a lot of it has to do with the placement of the placement of the subway. Like, I have to remind myself when I go to Seattle that 60 degrees Seattle on the water is very different from 60 degrees in Manhattan. Like, that's a difference of about 5 or 6 degrees, actually. It's like 5 or 6 degrees warmer in New York because of the humidity and because of the heat rising from underground. In urban areas, collect heat and can be 10 degrees more than open air areas. Yes, indeed, yes. A lot of times they're just collecting that heat. That heat! Alright, so I am slowly assembling all the parts for our shoulders here on the arm unit. And then we can start putting things together. I need A and E. We'll do A first. Get the same exact piece. A4. Yeah, no, Asmo, I understand. Yeah, It is also global warming. It's also hotter everywhere than it should be. But certainly, there are cities that are designed that end up through design choices way hotter than they should be. And it sucks. I don't know. My area is just, it's still like residential. There's businesses, but it's not like that per se. All right, so E3 goes on here. Two goes on this side of it. This side of it. All right. Slowly just getting all the pieces I need for this thing to do its thing. My parents' town had a heat warning today for E index of 112. Asmo, that's very hot, and that's not good. Yeah, that's not leave the house. That's check on the elderly hot. Which is not a joke. If it sounds like I was taking that lightly, I was not. Yeah, I mean, today's cooler than it was yesterday. Right now, it's the weather where, like, I have a bandana in my bag specifically so when I get to work and set up, because on Sunday I go back to working at the job I enjoy that's part-time, but we were off for a bit. I go back to that job on, what do you call it, on Sunday, and I'll have a bandana in my bag that I will change into once I'm done setting up, because the one I've been wearing I will completely soak through. Our UPS guy at work today looked like he just climbed out of a pool. Yeah, that sounds about right. That is, that sounds pretty accurate. I know that it's been, tough for people out there. I definitely felt the heat today in the brief time I was out there. Saw a guy in like a full suit, like definitely like, you know, a dude that's working the business job, and that seemed not fun. I was like, oh, I'm glad I don't have to wear a suit in any work environment I'm in. But yeah, I got some stuff done for Impress Postmortem. Got some guests booked. I'm still confirming more guests. Now that I know exactly when it is, I can confirm more. I know that I'm running 2 panels. I'm in 3, or at least 2 other panels. I think I'm doing 4 panels. It was going to be real hot today or 2, but then a storm blew through and it took the edge off. That's good, Durman. That's what you hope for, right? That's what you hope for, those sudden like storms. I know yesterday a bunch of my friends got caught in the rain. I luckily was able to avoid it. Very happy I was able to avoid that rain. But yeah, it came through and wasn't fun for people. Some friends got fucking soaked. But it did cool things off yesterday, so that was nice. And then I went out and it was just rainy. And I got my work done. Worked a little contract gig. But yeah, I wanted to stream last night. I was going to play Pokemon Insurgents, which is a fan-made Pokemon game. I'm still going to do that at some point. Hey, Mr. Bob just renewed with Twitch Prime. That's 22 months. That's a 22-month streak. Let's throw the Bear Cave emote in there for Mr. Bob. Thank Mr. Bob for 22 months. That fucking rules. Thank you so much for your continued support. OG supporter of the stream. Thank you, Mr. Bob. It does mean a lot. I'm not always the best at expressing that, but it generally does mean a lot to me that people have been supporting me for a long time. That fucking rules. Yeah, so I worked a little gig last night. I was going to check out that Pokemon fan game, but I am going to do that in the future. I don't know when, but I will in the future check out that Pokemon game because it looks cool and it's on my computer, so Might as well check it out. Ben from aka Bengineering, from Loading Ready Run, was checking it on one of his own streams, and I was watching it and being like, oh, I should check that out. He was doing a Nuzlocke run though, and fuck that shit. Look, Nuzlocke runs can be great, and Nuzlocke runs that are like recorded and live streamed can be very entertaining. But also, hey, 2019 has been fucking rough. I don't want a Pokemon to get hit with a critical attack, like a critical hit, and then that Pokemon that I've been playing with for 2 hours or 4 days is gone forever. I don't got that in me right now. I don't. In my best days, I don't know if I have the heart for a Nuzlocke run, but I certainly don't have it right now. Like, no thanks. Not gonna let any Pokemon I like go away. So, if and when I do check out Pokemon Insurgents, which I want to, it will not be a Nuzlocke run because no. Alright, I'm trying to get this lined up. It's giving me a little problems here and there. I think I got it there. Here we go. Got it done. And okay. Done and done. It just seems like a big waste of time unless you have played the same game 1,000 times. Yeah, Mr. Bob, it's for people that like want an extra challenge, or like like Pokemon Emerald. I don't need to. I'm gonna randomize it, and I'm gonna do it as a Nuzlocke, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And like those are people that like consistently play those kind of games. It's very cool to mix things up. I can understand appreciation of that. But for me, it's like I don't know. I get attached. Like I don't know. I understand where people are coming from with it, and it can make things exciting and dangerous. It adds a level of like, ooh, but also like to me, it's not that fun to watch live because like my instinct is to then play careful and backtrack, and like, well, that's not going to be fun if you're like, well, let me go back and try to avoid all these battles in the game about battling because I want to make it back to a gym so that I can heal up so that the two Pokemon I have don't both die. Like, it's a problem you have Fire Emblem XCOM 2. Yeah, I mean, like, there are games where I'm fine with losing out on people, losing resources, losing people, all of that. I can understand that, and I'm all right with that. But in general, the Nuzlocke thing, I'm just like, nah, I like my Pokemon. I want them to live. The SD Gundam games also do that with the mobile suit, not the pilots, thankfully. I just want to be bad and have fun. Yeah, Mr. Bob, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, the idea is like, oh, well, I'm going to the angle of I've never played a fan-made Pokemon game before. We can learn about Delta Pokemon. We're going to explore a new region. We're going to find out why Mew came and saved you from this cult and why are all these cults here and explore this thing. And one of the things I like about Pokemon Insurgents is it's a fan-made game, right? And so if you go to the website and you look at all the credits, it's all like Master 6302, Young Yahweh 7, all these icons, and then it's just like composer Don, and it's just like a nice headshot of a guy just being like, everyone else is like an anime or like OC icon, and the composer is just like a dude that makes music. And I love that so much that I'm like I wonder if he lists it as like, I did music for a video game once. Into the Breach had some interesting sounding permadeath mechanics. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when games are built around it, it can be interesting. It was alright, all new fan-made Pokemon. Solar Light a few months ago. Yeah, I've never checked them out. I mean, I've played like ROMs and done ROM hacks of stuff. I did a randomizer for Emerald. I played for quite a while and then eventually my computer crashed and I lost my game save and didn't want to start a new one. But I still was having fun with that. Yeah, to me, there's definitely fun to be had. It's just I'm not like obsessed with getting that done. All right, so we can do this twice, two at a time here. I don't know. I have a lot of fond memories of Pokemon stuff, and fan made things I think are interesting. So I do want to give it a shot. I just am not. I know that I'm not going to play it the way that some people think. And there's like different modes they have in the game that are meant to help people that want to do Nuzlocke stuff. Like instead of you having to be careful with your, you can set it so like if a Pokemon faints, you can't access it. It won't be healed in and revived in a Pokemon thing, and there are no revives or anything like that. That's interesting. Like they add that, and I think that's kind of interesting. Urban Buddha's here. Hi, Urban Buddha. Happy to have you here. Thanks for coming by. Great crowd tonight on my 2-year anniversary as a streamer. Very happy. I didn't know it was my 2-year until I saw Facebook, which is, these days the only good thing about Facebook is that sometimes it tells you about things like this, where I saw, like, 2 years ago today, I posted a thing telling people, hey, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow for the first time ever. You should come see my stream, which I think were funny. That was thank you for the happy anniversary. I appreciate that, Urban Buddha. That was so my very first stream. It's in my you can find it on the YouTube. I archived everything. I booked a room at the UCB Training Center. Brought all my gear with me because my internet was not great at home, and I also didn't know if I had the space to build at home. So I took my kit, bring everything with me, get everything set up. I've got a tripod on the table with a camera pointing down. At the base of that is a camera on my little tripod here facing me. I have an elaborate mic setup system because I was going to try to do labs. Because the original idea was that I was going to once a week I would do it at the UCB Training Center, and I would invite friends of mine who happen to be around to come in. I think I've had one guest, two, if you count Aaron Trites built with me at San Diego Comic-Con last year, around my 1-year anniversary. But I've never had guests because I quickly realized I'd rather stream more and stream from my apartment. And then also the audio setup I was doing was just like really complicated, and all I really needed was this, which is what I use, since I like a lot of people use room mics, but it doesn't make sense for me because I'm moving around and drop my head down to look at stuff and all that. Having a mic always right in my face has been great. But yeah, it was an hour. My first stream was an hour, and then eventually I was like, oh, I think I can stream for an hour and a half. And then I tried doing a stream from home on my laptop, and that worked out pretty good. And then I built, like, my desktop was working out all right. I got this table to build on instead of the smaller table that I had that I couldn't really do anything on. I got a dual monitor set up. Eventually did a GoFundMe for a new computer because my computer died a year ago at PAX East, so a year and a change ago. My computer finally crashed, and I wanted to do that instead of using my laptop because, like, my laptop's fine for... It's like one of those things where, like, it's on a ticking time bomb. Like, it'll be fine at PAX West if my internet is good at the Airbnb I'm staying at. Like, it'll be fine, and I'll be able to, like, have the internet working and do all that. But I don't want to lean on it. It can't be like my everyday streaming machine. Like, I ended up building the computer that I'm using now like specifically for that. But yeah, I had grand plans of like the idea of having guests on, and then like you know, uh, dogs surrounded by fire. Fine, indeed, yeah. Um, yeah, I had like grand visions of what this show was going to be. Like, oh, the like it'll be kind of like having a talk show, and like there's stuff that I we did come to it. We did the when I did the Lego build challenge panel. That is kind of what I originally envisioned the stream being. But then I realized the thing that I like most is building model kits and talking with y'all, and doing it at home means I can do it at night. Because that was the other thing. Doing it at the UCB training center, which was great because the Wi-Fi, I was on a Wi-Fi that no one uses for uploading, and it worked out fine, and the rooms were good, and my kit traveled well, and I just needed a table, and I could do it no matter what. But the thing that I realized was that, oh, I can't ever do this at night, and the night is when people want to watch streams. I mean, some of y'all will watch in the afternoon, and I'm grateful for that because sometimes I want to stream in the afternoon, but like my bonus streams or whatever. But yeah, it was really nice to know that I could just like um, just do it at home. Um, Especially when I was like working nights, it wasn't going to be possible for me to continuously uh, do this at home or do it at night. So now that my internet is solid and I can kind of stream whenever I want, makes things a lot easier. I won, two, and one. Thanks for everybody who's watching tonight. Really appreciate people hanging out. Reminder that you can use your Twitch coin if you want to subscribe. Being a subscriber has the benefit of cool emotes, and I don't know, it's a great way to support the channel. It's pretty easy to do that way. Um, if you're using your Twitch coin because you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, that's a way to support the stream. Once we do our pause from the cause after 10, I'll go through the different ways that people can do to support the streams if that's something they'd like to do, which is always helpful if people are so inclined. And I've got a bunch of anime to talk about because a lot of the shows I watch right now come out on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. I'll also talk about a show that got recommended to me on Monday that comes out on Mondays. And so I watched the 2 episodes that came out of that. It's an Isekai that I didn't know if I was going to watch, but I'm going to give it a shot because it's interesting. I'll talk about that in the second hour. But yeah, there are a lot of Isekai out there this season. Last season, I think there were 2. This season, there are several. And some of them are alright, and some of them are not as great. And there's also at least one I'm not watching, I think. I think there's one Isekai that I haven't been checking out. I just rewatched Evangelion, first time since the 90s. I gave that a rewatch sometime in the 2000s, I believe, after watching it the first time in the 90s. I have not watched the Netflix dub or sub. I am not particularly thrilled with some of the changes that sound like they were coming through in some of the dialogue and directions. And in general, also, I never loved Evangelion, so I don't really want to watch it again. I think it's important that it came out. I think it inadvertently pushed forward some creators. I think it's one of those shows that like is important to people that want to make things. That it did influence a generation, and that's a positive thing. I just think that it's not great, and I kind of don't want to watch it. It's just to me as it did back then. It's just not a crazy. Well, I mean, a lot of it is that they just didn't have the money to do the ending Who knows what the ending would be? I mean, there's it's a two-pronged thing, Urban Buddha. It's money and inspiration and also mental illness. Legit actual mental illness. Uh, can be a creative killer. And when you don't have stuff to pull from, you only have the works that you're working on as you're working on it. You don't have like a manga to fall back on. Yeah, you can get some pretty weird places. I don't know. Kind of want to watch to hear the panning of the stream pod. Yeah, I'd be interesting to. I would be interested to hear what they have to say about the show, as people who are not particularly invested in the genre. I mean, anime, but not like mecha and that style of battle show that has like a lot going on in it and a lot of weirdness involved in it. It's just a weird show. It's just a weird fucking show. Evangelion. It's a weird fucking show. Just clarify. But yeah, I don't really have an interest in revisiting it. Like, I haven't listened to Pan the Stream about it. I haven't listened to any of the Waypoint videos about it. Like, cultural critique from Austin and from Rob and from Danielle and from Patrick. Those are things I am interested in. But I also, just can't be bothered to care about Evangelion right now. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot going on in the world of anime that I'm more interested in. I mean, there's a lot of garbage and there's a lot of not great stuff as well, certainly, but there's a lot of cool shit going on out there that I'm much more interested in. All right, so now we got to build some claws here. Kind of like claws, anyway. Put these on. We're gonna need 3 and 3, so 6 of them. As far as other pop culture stuff, there's some stuff going on out there. I was gonna go to the movies last night. I was gonna stream at 6 and then go to the movies, and I didn't go to the movies because instead I worked a job for a little bit and then came back to my apartment and enjoyed that, and that was really nice. Please don't ruin the state of anime, Netflix. Yeah, I mean, they're not ruining anything. If anything, they're just giving it a different model. There's something interesting about that. Like, Netflix is a streaming service, but it feels like Netflix feels different than other streaming services because it's so ubiquitous. Like, it does feel weird to have Netflix feels weird for a weekly show. Like if a show comes out every week on Netflix, that feels odd because it feels like batches or the whole thing is like their model. So it does feel weird compared to other streaming services. Watching panning the stream of Eva has only made me more confused as how I can't remember small details about the show despite not having seen it for over a decade. I understand. Brown Lantern's here saying, Pat, what's up, man? Hello, Brown Lantern. Happy to have you here in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Working on the Fenice Rinascita. Or, I don't know how to say it. Rinascita. Finally got our schedule. Yes! Yes, Brown Lantern. I also got my schedule today for the Game Developers of Color conference. I'm doing 2 shifts and with a break in between. I am working in I myself am working in the panel area and as an assistant. So I'll be helping mic people up if they require assistance. I'll be helping with getting PowerPoint to work or whatever. You're going to be roaming and then break down. That's cool. You good? Yeah. those are needed things. Um, the one thing I'm bummed about is uh, my shift is like 11 to 2 and then like a break and then another shift, and that's cool. But my shift like ends 15 minutes into a music like hip hop in games panel. So at least I get to see like Open Mike Eagle, and like we haven't like seen each other in person in a long time. So it'd be nice to say hi and like see Samus and a few other people that I've been like psyched to see that I think are awesome. But then their panel, most of their panel, I'll like miss because I won't be there. Uh, and then the other thing that sucks about it is during that panel, my friend Alex is on a panel while I'm not going to be there. And I was like, oh, I guess I don't know if I want to watch a panel when I don't have to work on panels. So I was like, ugh. We'll see. I'll do my best. I am excited to go. I'm going to bring up the website here, and it will be in the chat as well. Uh, uh, for the game developers of color conference. Uh, Game Devs of Color Expo, I should say. It is on July 27th. It is one day, so it is a week from this Saturday. I expect to still stream. I will have my gear all set up, and then I will go to it. I'm going to put the website in the show description, but it also I'll put it in there if you're in the New York area. Uh, it's going to be hot. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying not to do much. This Saturday, people were like, we should go to the beach. And I was like, what if we didn't? But yeah, so it's a week from this Saturday. Um, it's in Harlem, which is awesome. One of the things that's kind of cool is because it's a one-day convention, there's a break. There's like literally a period where things shut down, and then they encourage folks to like go get some food, which I think is really neat. Uh, I think you can still go to the arcade, but in general, they are interested in folks going out and like doing stuff. And I think that's very neat. Hip hop and video games, yeah. Yeah, Samus is gonna be there, and Eagle and a few people I like. And then yeah, my friend Alex is gonna be working. Uh, or he's gonna be speaking on a panel, and I won't be there during it, and that's a bummer. And then I come back. See some other stuff, micro talks. It's fun, but yeah, it's gonna be a cool convention. Short one that people should check out. It's right by the Big L Memorial mural. Yes, Mech looks hot. Thank you, Guy. Yes, we were working on the Fenice master grade. Took a pause there just to kind of promote the expo that I'm going to next week. But yes, working on this. It is a cool kit. Last year when I was there, I was really happy to see that in person. Yes, I totally agree with Brown Lantern. Uh, there are a lot of folks that come to New York and don't experience Harlem in any way, shape, or form, which is one of the reasons why it is in Harlem. And that's also for welcome to everybody. Like, I'm volunteering there. I am not a person of color, but I can use my expertise and my many years of being a tech person to hopefully make things sound okay and make sure the PowerPoints work, and make sure that people have waters and all that shit. That's like, well, I might as well volunteer for that. I've got some time. And I should be my stream next week. Should allow me to be here on time and do all that part of it. My normal stream. Alright, so gotta put some claws on this thing. Oops. Some claws on this thing. Like that. This is a little, a little nod to the Altron Gundam. A little bit of a claw there, which I really like. I like that that is included. Just a little claw. That's fun. Even though most of this kit is inspired by the Wing Gundam. Been to New York City a million times. Being from New Jersey, but never really saw Harlem. Yeah, I lived on what was it, 138th for a year. It was a very nice apartment. Had been renovated, but Columbia was opening a branch of their school, and so the people that owned the building wanted everyone to move out so that they could do some renovations and sell to college and grad students and make a lot more money. And I understand that was a bummer because I really liked that apartment. It was a huge building. Yeah, I was real bummed when I realized that the place that I had just moved into, or a year ago, did not want me to renew the lease. I was like, oh, okay, that happens. But it was a bummer. All right. Only time I ever went into the hundreds before last year was my friend to a college visit to Columbia. We saw the Eiffel Tower too. Yes, yes. The Columbia is a reason why a lot of people go to that area. And yeah, and it was the business school was opening a branch of it, and folks could make more money if selling to people that were not us. It was a thing where like they were like, well, we're gonna look, if you want to renew your lease, we are gonna increase it the maximum we legally can, and just so you know, every year we're going to increase the maximum. We will never it is anything that is within our rights to increase and find fault with, we will, because we don't want you to stay here. They literally were just like, you should move out. And we were like, it's like, yeah, oh, it's like, you're not bad tenants, and you pay your rent on time, and we've never had a trouble with you, but we know we can get more money if you weren't here. It's just like, fuck, all right, well, I guess I gotta move. It really fucking sucked. Yeah, fuck landlords. Yeah, it was like it was a company, and they were just trying to make a buck. I have been very happy with I've been here 12 years. My apartment I live in now. I lived in 7 places in 6 years, and then moved here, and I have been here for a very long time, and I'm very pleased with it. They increased our rent. They basically did a rent freeze for a long time and just increased it. I think once they figured out we weren't going to move because they were afraid with the L train that we were going to move, which my roommate had thought about it, was looking at places, then it ultimately didn't. And I was going to stay because I like this place. But yeah, I've been very happy in the place I live in now, but totally was bummed. Several times I have been heartbroken by places that I lived that I was so happy to live in. I mean, look, I lived in a place in Inwood. For folks that don't know New York, understand that a lot of stuff that happens in the city, when we talk about the city, you're really talking about Grand Central. So that's what people think of Grand Central and Times Square is like the heart of New York City. That's 42nd Street, okay? So Midtown is like the 50s. Rockefeller is 49. Like that's the general we're talking about there, right? Yeah, that's literally one street across, right? But that's like when people think of New York, they think of this area, right? Inwood, I got off on 207th Street. Inwood, I used to say, is barely Manhattan. It's barely New York. There are people that live in Inwood that never go into the city. The A train runs express and is fine during the day. At night, it's local and it used to take me twice as long to get to 207th Street to 26th Street during the day, 30 minutes. You get off at 34th Street, no problem. At night, going from 26th Street to 207 would take an hour. because it would make every local stop and just in general take forever and be super fucking annoying. Um, and whatever, that was fine because uh, it was a huge apartment. We paid nothing. Inwood Forest is right there, and it's like a national park and beautiful. So we got like, I loved that area. I wish I had a car because I would have been able to drive up and down the West Side Highway, and it wouldn't have taken any time at all to get around. That apartment was great, but my roommates, I had two roommates, uh, and they started fucking. And hey, you know what? It's almost Yonkers. Yeah, it's not Yonkers Brown Lantern, but it might as well be. Uh, I'll say this. Uh, when the strike happened, and I couldn't take the subway to work, I had to walk to 225th Street and take the train that went to Grand Central. And because there's a train on 225th Street that goes into New York. Uh, Also, there's a 225th Street, if you can believe it. But anyway, so my roommates, I lived with two roommates, and they started fucking, and that's fine. I mean, they were adults. They were both into it. They were into each other. They're making it work, I guess. Sure, I don't care. But the lease was in their name, and I was not. They each of them had been on the lease, and I was not on the lease. I was a subletter, which is totally legal in New York and totally fine. But the lease was coming up, and I was like, hey, are we going to renew? I'd really like to stay here. If you want to put me on the lease, I'd be willing to be on the lease. I'm also fine with continuing just to rent from the two of you. No problem. And they were like, actually, we're going to find a one bedroom and save a bunch of money on rent. Or spend as much as we're now, but live in closer to the city and get a one bedroom. And I was like, I mean, that makes sense. When you and your roommate are sleeping together, you don't even have the benefit of going to your boyfriend or girlfriend or partner, non-gender partner's place. It's like you don't have two apartments to use. You're just paying double the rent to like keep your stuff near your partner. So I got it. It made total sense, but it really sucked for me because I liked that place and wanted to stay there, but I wasn't on the lease, so I couldn't like. And I had like asked about getting, whatever, and was like, hey, they're moving out. What if I stayed? And that didn't work out, so I had to leave. It just feels bad. Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where I was like, totally, what y'all want to do makes total sense, and y'all should do it. Like, I got it. It just negatively affected me, so it wasn't a good idea. I mean, it was a good idea. It made total sense, and I was generally happy for them. Not genuinely, generally happy for them, but also bummed because I had to move. And then I got the place, after that I got a place in Harlem. And 136th or whatever it was, 135th, felt so much closer to the city than 205 or 207. It felt like I was in the middle of it. It really did feel like a huge difference. And then I moved from there to where I am now in Brooklyn. And it's a different sort of being out of the ways, but I'm not really far out in Brooklyn. I can still do stuff, and get to places and see people. So not the same worries that some people have. Gotta make sure it's right. Okay, just making sure that I attach this properly and correctly. We're building an arm. Never spent a lot of time in Brooklyn. Yeah, I love it. My neighborhood is still feels like a neighborhood. I mean, I'm in Williamsburg. I live near some of the nonsense like hustle and bustle, young people, funness. Uh, oh, Jamaica. I mean, I love Jamaica. Such a fucking chill area. Um, I lived out in Astoria for a long time and had friends in Jamaica, and so I would spend some time out there. But yeah, I loved Astoria when I lived there when I first moved to the city. Now I don't know, I don't know in the neighborhood. It's been years since I lived there, so I have no idea how the vibe is. Uh, but I did really enjoy it when I lived in that area. All right, so just working on this arm here. Got our claws on. Put more green on there. It's a really nice green. I feel like weird saying a girlfriend, but then I feel weird appropriating the term partner. I mean, say whatever you want, man. I know people that don't use partner for a variety of reasons. Uh, but also, like, whatever. I think it's weird. I'll say this. I would say, in my opinion, as just me, that I don't love when people, in general, refer to their significant other, if they are female, as my girl. My girl feels not great. And hey, there definitely folks out there that disagree, that is they're fine with it and cool. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't like hearing people. I don't like hearing people when I talk to them be like, "Well, my girl does this," and I'm just like, "Boo, boo." It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Uh, but like, if that's how you refer to your girlfriend, is your and she's okay. Obviously, it comes down to it. It only matters what I feel and think, and my vibe doesn't matter for shit. Brown Lantern, you do not have to apologize. The two people that it matters are you and your girlfriend. If both of you are cool with that is how you refer to her, then that is how you refer to her. I think it's more common in informal speech with non-white people. Certainly Brown Lantern. Certainly. And also, like, I only care so much. It sometimes sounds weird, but, like, also, whatever. And, like, I don't fucking care. It mostly is just the possessive. It feels weird. And it's the implied possessive, not the actual possessive. It's the ownership that feels implied with that, which is on a case by case basis, certainly. But yeah, uh, in general, like I've tried to curb my dude, which is a separate, different thing. When I refer to someone as my dude, uh, generally, when I use something like that, it is when someone who I have known in one period of my life and I have strong friendship feelings for, uh, generally refer to like if I know them, if I've known them in a setting and then they do well, and I want to tell people about how great this person's going. What is going, dude? You call your professor dude? Yeah, Brown Lizard, that might not be it. I was mainly talking about I have referred to when friends of mine have found success and be like, hey, do you know that my dude so and so is doing this thing? Check out my dude with his Emmy nomination. How crazy is that? That is often when I am referring to my dudes. Uh, but yeah, it's generally me doing something like that and just being like I don't know, yeah. It's like my dude is in a Spider-Man movie. How nuts is that? I still can't believe how many fucking Spider-Man movies there are. So I can't even be like, my friend was in a Spider-Man movie like 3 years ago, and there's been like 2 since. Like that's just so many Spider-Man movies. It just feels like that's too many Spider-Man movies. I don't know. That's a weird thing to. That's probably a weird complaint to have. There are too many Spider-Man movies. But my boy Zach was in Spider-Man: Homecoming in a role that is just incredible for Zach and like perfect. He is the hot dog cart person that demands that Spider-Man do a backflip. And then when Spider-Man does, my boy Zach goes, "Yeah!" And is excited about that. Which I don't know if that was in the script that Zach was excited that that was happening. But he does do that, and it is great. And it is one of my favorite scenes in that movie. And it's 97% because it's my boy and my dude Zach is the one doing it. I'm sure that has a lot to do with of why I think that's just a fun moment, but I do think it's a really fucking fun moment. Uh, I liked Far From Home a lot. Brown Lantern is uh, Brown Lantern. Oh, the link. He sent me a link, which I can't because, well, I don't monetize. Actually, here's the thing: I don't monetize these videos because they're 2 hours long and archives of Twitch, and that's when I got demonetized for doing that. So I monetize all my videos except for 404 and these, but I still don't want it. I'm going to put a link in there. The link that Brown Lantern did is the scene where my friend Zach is saying, "Hey, Spider-Man, do a backflip," which I'll also put in the show description. If you're watching this later on YouTube, I'm putting this in the show description. You should check that out. Uh, there's the link in there to do a backflip, um, which hopefully you'll watch. But yeah, that's my boy Zach. And all right, so it's 10:15. It's time to take a pause for the cause. I'm already talking about stuff here. So I'm going to take my pause for the cause and say, first of all, thank you so much for hanging out here and watching me stream. We're going to keep working on the arm here momentarily. If you are currently a subscriber, much like Brown Lantern, you can throw the Bear Cave emote in there. You can throw the Lego emote. If you're a Tier 2 subscriber, the two of you out there, you can throw the Scythe emote in there. Consider becoming a subscriber. It very much helps me out. It is one of the reasons why I can continue to do this is because of your support. I really appreciate it. If you don't want to support me here on Twitch, you could join my Patreon. That's patreon.com/PatBaer. There are rewards on my Patreon. $1, $3, $5, $10 level. Various rewards. The $10 get to vote on stuff. The 3 and 5 have different results. The $1 gets a Q&A. I'm shooting a Q&A video this weekend for... I do once a month. I do a Q&A video that only goes out to my Patreon. And so if you join up, you could do that. I have an Amazon wish list. Oh, yeah. My Amazon wish list is great. You could buy something on there. If there's ever something you would love to see me build on stream that you don't see on the wish list, let me know. If it's all available on Amazon, I'll put it on there. But the wish list works great because I don't have a P.O. box. So it's a way for people to be able to buy stuff and have it be sent to me and have me build it. A thing that I'm starting to do that I realized I should have been doing all along, and I'm sorry I haven't, is put inexpensive items at the top of the list. Now, these will be quick builds. Some of these will take an hour. Maybe they'll take 2 hours. But I know that for some people, $50 model kit is not something that you can see yourself doing. But maybe an $11 kit of Master Roshi's wagon, yellow wagon, uh, uh, maybe that's something that you would be interested in picking up. Or Oolong's Buggy, or a super deformed Gundam X. That's $12. So I'm going to start definitely always keeping a few really cheap options towards the top and more expensive stuff throughout. But model kits, Lego sets, they always jump the queue. And it always means a lot when those arrive in the mail. I'm always happy to see them. But, obviously no pressure. I have a coffee, and anything I make through Patreon, through Twitch, through coffee, goes to me buying kits and equipment. Apparently Brown Lancer says just subbed on Patreon. Appreciate that. Thank you for joining Patreon as a $1. Thank you very much. This weekend, probably on Saturday, I believe on Saturday, I'll be shooting it on Saturday. You will get a Q&A video that I make. It's usually like a 10-minute video, but I do it once a month. But thank you very much for joining that. Every little bit helps on all that. Also, bits and cheer, always appreciated. I do a monthly leaderboard. You see Brown Lantern on the top of the leaderboard there. Always appreciate that. Thank you very much to everybody that supports me in any way. Just telling a friend, being here in chat. Chatting is always super helpful for me to keep going. You can also chat on my Discord. I'll mention that. This is all in the show description as well. I've got the Discord there. You can join that. And also, background and characters. The one I put up on yesterday, is my favorite I've ever done. If you've never watched the background and characters, I just grab a random image off the internet and I put it on the green screen that I'm using like right now. And then I improvise a character based on that image, and they're usually pretty short, and they're silly, and some of them are good, and some of them are not great, and a couple of them, the sound was bad as I was experimenting with different ways of recording audio, and eventually I just started just using this because I know it can work. But the background of characters I just did this week is my favorite by far. It is very silly, and I think you'll like it. I think that's it. Let me just we'll get back into there. Grab some drink of water if you haven't. Stretch your legs if you need to. Flip. And I will start talking about some anime stuff in the second half of the stream. But yeah, bits and coins and cheers and subscribing here, subscribing wherever. All that stuff is super helpful and allows me to continue to do what I want to do, which is build model kits and hang out with y'all. So thank you for your support. If you could do it, and if you can't do it, also thank you. I understand. Maybe tell a friend. If you have a friend that likes model kit building and anime talk and chill vibes and good people, let them know. All right. So, anime talk. The first show is a show that I found out on Monday is a show that's on Hulu that I hadn't been watching, that a viewer was like, hey, there's an Isekai that comes out on Monday, so you might want to check that out. So I caught up on the 2 episodes that are out, and it's called Arifureta, from Commonplace to World's Strongest. It is an Isekai, but it is the category of Isekai that I am interested in. Well, first and foremost, definition of an Isekai, I'll say that every now and again. I don't say it that often. The definition of Isekai is that it is a show where the main character or characters have traveled from a different world. Often that involves a real world, a place like Earth that they are on, and then they end up in a fantasy world. Sometimes that is also a video game world, like Overlord, where someone was playing a game and suddenly they are the character they played in that video game in this world. Or it is a show like Sword Art Online, where they're trapped, or Log Horizon, where they're trapped in a video game. That is one case. Or it is a case like Inuyasha. Inuyasha is a very is an Isekai that also involves going back and forth. That happens on occasion, like dog days. They can travel back and forth. Anyway, so it's an isekai. This isekai premise is the demons are overwhelming the humans and will probably eradicate them. So a king summons a bunch of people to be powerful and help out. Those people are all kids from like that know each other. So it's not just like one person is brought over. It is a bunch of kids are brought over, and we are following the weakest one. He's a support class. He can transmute stuff, materials. He is mostly a thing that a lot of people can do what he does. I'm having trouble getting this hand together. I don't know why. So I'm going to look to see if no, that's G24. What's the other one? G23. All right, I'm going to try another hand here. I don't know why this is not working. So anyway, yeah. So he's running into problems. He's having trouble getting. He's not the strongest. He's support class, right? Well, things go fucking wrong in the first episode, and our young dude, is suddenly fucking trapped at the bottom of this labyrinth. He is in a place where he should not be. He is going to die. And he's trying to survive. So our main character ends up getting, like, he starts eating monsters, which seems like a thing he should not do. It seems like this dude should not be eating monsters. Maybe I'm just like... I think I got the wrong hand on here. I think that's what's wrong. I think I pulled the wrong... I think this is labeled wrong, or I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Forgive me. Anyway, so it is very clear that we've got this kind of like... There's so most isekai, most of these kind of shows follow the pattern of you've got a young guy is brought to a fantasy world and immediately has advantages over other people and is immediately like way better than most people, and just kicks a lot of ass and is overpowered and super strong and doesn't worry about shit. There is a subclass of that genre where you have people who are not like that. They are unwanted, or they are underpowered. They don't have those abilities. So that's what this show is. And this show is dealing with your main character was left for dead, is presumed dead. They're covering it up. And he is turning into a monster, is absorbing abilities that monsters have. I don't quite get exactly what the fuck's going on with this dude, but he is acting like a selfish villain, but clearly still a good guy. And in the second episode, he meets a young vampire. I don't know what that's going to mean. I don't know what that's going to do. But he met a vampire, and she's blonde and small. And I don't know what that's going to be, but like, also it's going to be a harem show. Because like, every character in the opening video is a lady. It's a harem show. Fine, it's a harem show. But like I said, there's some stuff going on in it that seems kind of interesting. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on this show. Because I think that something they're doing is cool. And it could be a good show. So that is from Common to World's Strongest, Arifureta. Black Clover. Plot shit is happening in Black Clover. The answer to the question, how do what's up with the fact that there are some elves in human bodies? We're learning the answers to those questions. It's kind of a big thing. There's a big spoiler. It's a beautiful fight. Black Clover continues to be a fantastic show with some really solid fights. This has really kicked up a bunch of notches. Uh, I'm generally, I would say, uh, super into it. Um, I don't know if it's a good time to get on board with it. It's not like One Piece where I keep saying like, "Hey, if you miss One Piece, now's the time to get back." People are like, "Nah, I don't know about that," but it is. Black Clover is great. I don't have a lot to say about Black Clover. It's awesome. Um, are you lost? So one thing this season doesn't really have a lot of is slice of life. I guess this would be considered a slice of life show. It is a comedy, and it's a survival comedy. It is still very horny. This show is so goddamn horny, which, like, hey, consenting adults, like, whatever, live your life, be your show. Uh, and even compared to other anime, uh, it's certainly not as bad as a lot of other shows that are out there by any means. I would say Are You Lost is worth checking out. Um, four young ladies get marooned on a desert island, or deserted island, I should say, not desert, deserted island, and are trying to make things work. And one of them was raised, she's not a great people person, but she's a survivalist. She was raised to be a survivalist by her dad. So, and the other girls are different, like from I'm not going to be useful to I'm annoying to I'm kind of like a princess. Uh, and it's fun and quick. They're 12-minute episodes. Lashbrook says all the clips I see make me kind of want watch One Piece. This Wano arc. I mean, it's only 2 episodes in. It could all fall apart, but right now, it's so fucking good. I mean, it's just cool to see Zoro after such a long time without him. It's cool to see that art and Luffy. Luffy just like fighting some random low-powered dudes. Like, yeah, I know Luffy's gonna fucking fight a big monster man, but right now, him just like knocking a guy completely out with a flick of his finger is just fun to see now and again. And him being like, hey, big monsters, don't mess with my ship, but keep fighting if you want to keep fighting. It's like, I don't care about that, but don't mess with my stuff. I don't know. It's enjoyable. Um, all right, to continue. So yeah, Are You Lost? Fun, a little horny, but like, nah, I don't got a problem with that. But like, be aware. Isekai Cheat Magicians. Cheat Magician, I should say. So Isekai Cheat Magician is an isekai. We learned that our main character has more magic ability than has ever been recorded. People are freaking the fuck out about this dude. They don't know why he's there. Even his friend, who was not supposed to be summoned, she came along because her friend was going to get sucked up into some world and she wanted to help out. She wasn't even supposed to be there, I guess you could say. She's also really strong, and it's slow. It's a slow-paced show, and that's actually very surprising for Isekai. Like, I'll talk about another one coming up that is moving very fast at a pace that I'm used to for Isekai. Because it's, 12 episodes, maybe 13 episodes. They've got to, like, save the world, generally, or a kingdom, or a bunch of people. So to have a show take any time at all that is an isekai is interesting. So we're only 2 episodes into Cheat Magician, and they're barely learning magic. We get the idea that, so generally, I guess what magic happens is you produce incantations which allow you to have spirits unlock spirit abilities and let you produce magic. Is kind of like the world that they're in. And so that's most magicians. But then there's also a class of sorcerers. And sorcerers don't have to do any of that shit. And of course, our main dude is a sorcerer. So he can, like, he's just got to channel magic in the world and he can do a bunch of stuff. Um, and there's whispers of some sort of big uh, magical force that's like, I'll meet you soon. I can't wait to hang out with you. And he's like, I don't know what that means. And it's like, it's probably a spirit that wants to like hang out with you and form a contract with you so you can do some cool magic or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of like them learning their abilities and learning their powers. And there's a little bit of a conversation with people who are like, what's going on? Because somebody summoned them, or summoned him anyway, the dude, to be like a hero. Uh, but they don't know who did it. So now they're like, well, if we become great adventurers, then eventually, like, we'll find out who summoned us, and then we'll be able to like go home. So I don't know. It's interesting. Uh, it makes sense that the main character is like uh, so overpowered because it's an isekai. I like that his friend isn't useless. She's not just like stuck there or kidnapped or anything. She's got magic abilities and also like way more common sense than he does. So like she'll pick stuff up and I don't know. It does some things that I think are fun. Like a lot of the magic is imagining what you want the magic to be and then making it happen. And well, it turns out if you understand how how combustion works and how fire works, you can imagine pretty strong flames. And people were like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, oh, you made a blue flame because you understand how like oxygen and gasoline work. Uh, so I like that. I think that's pretty interesting. And overall, like, I don't know. I like that it's slow. That by episode 2, we're in episode 2 now, they haven't saved the world yet. I think that's kind of unique and interesting for a show like that. Like they had to learn magic. You didn't instantly just be like, oh, and I know magic. Uh, a show where our main character does know fucking magic immediately is Demon Lord Retry. Demon Lord Retry is on Hulu. It is the thing most interesting about it is a guy is summoned to a world. They're trying to summon a demon lord. They're trying to destroy the world. He gets summoned. But they don't summon an actual demon lord. They summon a guy whose nickname is the Demon Lord. It was a guy that was playing a video game that he helped create called the Infinity Game, which looks like something akin to GTA Online. It's not a fantasy video game. So a character that's not a fantasy video game character that looks like a mafia boss is now in this fantasy world, but can use abilities and understands it and all that. So I think that's kind of interesting and different. And then we find out in episode 3, and it doesn't really explain it. He's able to change character classes to play a character that he used to play, like a toon, like an alt. But I can't tell if he's in control of it or if it's acting like an NPC. And that's new and different. And I'm interested to see what happens the next week. That comes out on Wednesday. So next week I'm definitely interested in finding out where that goes because that's like fucking interesting. I think that could be really cool. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but like the idea that because there are a bunch of characters in the opening song that what I thought was going to happen is that eventually he was going to bring in people to support him because there was like a doctor character and this dude, the shirtless dude that like is a brawler, and I was like, oh, I don't think I've seen that in an isekai before. Like the idea of this guy who gets brought over to the other side, like brings his friends over, or like brings his guild to help him out. Like that's new. But I guess instead it's like alt personalities, alt characters. That's what he's doing instead. And I'm like, oh, that also could be interesting. So I don't know. And there's young lady. there's some ladies, and then there's a dude that I like, that like a tough looking dude that has like chest hair in the shape of an X, but I don't know. Whatever. I kind of like that the tough holy maiden is kind of, there's a dominatrix style character uh, um, that is interesting, and then she gets saved, and so she's like, oh, the character that's usually really tough and argumentative is suddenly like swooning over this character. It's very anime, but it was fine. Talking about Demon Lord Retry, Brown Lantern. Demon Lord Retry is on Hulu. It was a minor character, but I was saying it's interesting because it is like How Not to Summon a Demon Lord or Overlord, in that it is a person from our world is summoned to a fantasy world, and they're now in control of their character, their avatar in a video game, but the video game that the Demon Lord was from isn't a um, isn't a fantasy game. He was brought in from like a GTA Online style game. So that's been kind of interesting to see that play out, because it feels different than some of your typical shows in the genre. But yeah, it's not great, but it's interesting. I would say the first show I talked about tonight, uh, Arifureta, is the most interesting, and that's also on Hulu. And the last show I want to talk about is If It's For My Daughter, I'd Even Defeat a Demon Lord, which, If It's For My Daughter, I'd Even Defeat a Demon Lord is, all intents and purposes, in a fantasy world, but is a slice of life, cute, fun show. Um, and, I mean, it did involve some fighting and is maybe a little rougher than some of your typical shows in that genre, but it is traditionally, I would say you would label it as that. And it's still very cute. I've heard, like I said, I think I said this before, I have heard that it goes in a not cool direction and becomes not fun eventually, and I am expecting that to happen. But it might not be in the first season or in the only season of the anime. It might just be that it gets bad in the manga, and we don't see that in the anime. Why is this being weird? So I don't know. But I'm liking it so far, so I am going to keep watching. If It's For My Daughter, I'd Even Defeat a Demon Lord, because I like that. It's cute. And really, I'm not watching that many cute shows. Like, I look at the shows I'm watching. Most of them are Isekai or action, like shonen shows. Um, I haven't watched Given yet. I am going to watch Given. I've heard that the music is really good in it. I mean, it's a song about a band, so I would hope the music is good. But apparently, it's strong and people are into it. Um, just checking my Twitter real quick. Some people liking some stuff. Some people retweeting things. Have a little bit of a little FOMO, because I've only been to one San Diego Comic Con, but it was a really good time, and seeing people I know kind of roll in today. There was preview happened, and I don't know. I have not heard back, but there were a lot of figure arts. Okay, so when it comes to Dragon Ball, if it says figure arts, that's an action figure. If it says figure rise, that's the model kit figures that we've built on stream. There's only one figure rise that is an exclusive, and it is Gogeta. Super Saiyan God Gogeta exists out there, and you can get that. This is the Super Saiyan version, is the exclusive. So it's just the Super Saiyan Air. Um, that is an exclusive at San Diego Comic Con. I don't know if it's going to be exclusive everywhere or if it's just an exclusive. Uh, it will be at New York Comic Con as well. So a friend of mine who is um, at the show is theoretically picking that up for me. Gogeta is still one of the coolest characters. I do like Gogeta. I mean, his costume looks awesome, and it just looks cool. So I put out to my friend a request for that kit. I do not know if that is going to happen. I will keep you posted if it does, because it would be cool as hell if I could get that. I assembled this wrong. Assembled it wrong. That should be easy enough to swap this out. So don't worry about this. Just gotta pop these off here. But I did assemble this wrong, and so I gotta reassemble it right. Tools out. That's what I get for talking too much about anime. But yeah, I'm excited to build Gogeta. Hopefully he got it. I don't know. I haven't. He's working, so I didn't want to be like, "Hey, did you get that? Did you get the thing?" I don't want to be a dick about it, but I also want it. I did see Dragon Ball Super Broly. I did. I saw it subtitled, in a New York screening, because one of the benefits of New York City is that you can get to see stuff subtitled. It's usually pretty rare and usually at a night, but it does happen. Because I don't. I mean, I don't mind the dub of Dragon Ball. In general, I mean, specifically with that show, there's some issue, but the voice actor for Broly, in the dub, has been accused of some not cool shit, some real not cool shit. So I wanted to see it subtitled. I mean, in general, I prefer it subtitled anyway, but specifically in this case, I was like, what if I saw it subtitled? For the dub for DBZ, that's the only show, to be honest. Yes, indeed. Um, I mean, I can appreciate the dub of Dragon Ball. That's what I originally came to watch in the beginning, and then I eventually started watching the subtitle to keep watching the show and to watch more of the show. And I don't know. I mean, I like, Vegeta's voice actor, Goku's voice actor, like all those things. Like I can appreciate them and understand, but at the same time, I I like I like the Japanese voice actors as well. I mean, here's the thing. Once you get used to the fact that Goku sounds like a lady because a lady is voicing Goku and Gohan and Goten, uh, if you've been watching the whole time, you're totally used to it and it doesn't sound odd. If you haven't been watching them and you go to it, it can sound pretty weird. Um, but that's general voice acting. Is when you have a kid, you got a young person, you want them to sound the same. You don't hire a young person. You hire a lady or a female identifying folk or somebody that is not going to go through a voice change to voice it, which is why Kenshin, because they wanted Kenshin to be a soft-spoken person. Kenshin is a woman, is the voice actor in Japan for Rurouni Kenshin, because that was the vibe they were going for. They wanted that sound. G21 and G20. In anime adjacent news, I downloaded Final Fantasy XIV and I'm scared to actually launch it, says Esmo. I mean, that sounds like an investment in time, my friend. Go do your thing. Um, I just in video game news, I mean, I'm playing Hearthstone a lot. There's new expansion coming next month, so I've been trying to play every day. One, because I enjoy it, but two, because I want to finish quests to get gold, so that when it comes out, uh, the I can get some decks, open up some new packs, and build some new decks, and I don't have to craft everything. So I definitely want to do that. Also, in my this is the game that relaxes me. Um, I'm building settlements mostly and not doing much of anything else. Fallout 4 playthrough. I just today. Oh, I need the other H. I just today in Fallout 4 uh, defeated the Mechanist uh, because I want to build some robot stuff. I want to build up Grey Garden, and the best way, in my opinion, the best way to build up Grey Garden is to make some new robots to work at Grey Garden, because I like the idea of the robot run facility. Not I want to have all robots and then one person selling stuff as a trader, and then there's the one person who just hangs out with robots all day and it's just I work at the robot farm. It's weird. You've fallen off but watching new cards with interest. Yes, Bees, Asmo. Bees. They're doing a super deluxe joke on a no, sorry. Yes, it's a super deluxe. Posted a GIF that Conan made of a dumb joke for Oprah. Bees has a weird internet history. But yeah, there is a Bees card. I think it's a good idea. There's a bunch of cards that seem cool. I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the world of Hearthstone that I'm excited about. But yeah, I just defeated the Mechanist. I need to go and finish up her extra quest of hey, go kill some more of these. Uh, um, what do you call it? Hey, go finish off some robots for me. But yeah, never really did her Beast trigger overkill on your own minions. That's bonkers. Yes, totally. It is a really interesting card. I can't wait to see what it does in Wild, because I think it could do some interesting things there. I mean, it's going to do some interesting things no matter what, but you can see it in Wild being quite the card. But yeah, my Mechanist is chilling now, and I'm okay, you seem all right. I'm going to let you live. I'll let the Mechanist live in my game. Some people might not, but I decided that in my game, the Mechanist lives and hangs out, does her thing. I guess I'm going to make her. I might put some robots, build some robots and put some robots in her base. Don't really use that as a settlement. Feels weird to use it as one. I might just put some robots in there to hang out, do some shit. I'm having trouble assembling this properly. Just gotta go like this. Didn't have any problems with this, arm on the other side, but I'm having some issues here. It may be that I assembled it poorly. It's totally possible that I fucked up somewhere, but I'm going to keep attempting to do this. But we are going to kind of, ease into the end of the stream for the day. So I do want to thank everybody for hanging out with here on the Build with Baer workshop. We're just finishing up the arms and the head. We finished today. So we made some progress on this kit. It is a good looking kit. As I said, something's going on with the arm here that's giving me some problems, but that should be okay. All right, yeah. So we made some progress today. Happy with that. I might take this apart and reassemble because this arm is being weird. Likes to pop out, which I don't like. But other than that, some good progress in this model kit. I'm excited to continue it. But like I said, yeah, before Saturday, I'll take a look at that. And then Saturday, the 2-year anniversary continues because technically tomorrow is my anniversary. Thank you for hanging out. My next stream is on Saturday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Please come, consider watching if you can. Come hang out. Yeah, it's a cool looking model. I like that it is certainly takes a lot of notes from the Wing Gundam, but is its own thing, which I can appreciate. But yeah, this is going to do it for the stream. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'm going to fix it and take a photo of it. But I'm going to go for now. So see you next time in the next Build with Baer workshop. Goodbye, and thank you for hanging out with me all night. Bye-bye.